Okay, so I've just created an issue for the feature I want to add to Hoverboard for composition. So now we're ready to actually write some code. So I'm going to switch over to Sublime and open up my test suite. So I try to aim for 100% test coverage with Hoverboard, and the entire thing has been written with test-driven development. So if you're not familiar with that, basically that means you write your tests first before you write any actual code, and then you write your code to make the test pass. So I'll show you how that goes because I'm going to add a new feature. So this will actually be a new suite. I'm going to go right to the bottom and add that. So I'm going to start off with describe hoverboard. Actually, I'll put that inside here. So this block is hoverboard, and this is part of hoverboard. The next block would be init, but what I'm going to have is compose. So I'll go back. Describe. So describe hoverboard.compose, and that will be where all my tests go. So I'm going to create tests for all the features I've sort of outlined in the issue, and all the tests will fail because the feature doesn't exist. So that's fine. So it should take in static variables. It's kind of the simple case. So what that means is I want it to actually create a store when I go hoverboard.compose, 1, 2, 3. So expect when I call store to equal 1, 2, 3. So it's basically going to create a static store that just always has this as the state and never changes. I'm not sure if that's going to be a popular use case, but I want that to work. Okay, so it should also take in functions. So I want to be able to go have a set state function pass right into it, and then do whatever you want in here. Call set state 1, 2, 3. Same thing. Let's make it slightly different, 4, 5, 6, and that should work. So I also want it should take in a store. So what I mean by that is, and again, this is a pretty weird use case, but I want it to be possible, that you have store A, which is going to be a real store. So let's just have a init function that takes state, new state, return new state. It's a very simple store. Then I want store B to just be hoverboard.compose of store A. And that just means that store B will always have the state of store A. So expect store B to be undefined to start, and then then I'm going to call store A.init 789, and after I want store B to equal 789. Okay, so that's 3 cases that cover sort of passing something directly in. Next cases are going to be more common, so it should take in an array of stores. Let's say an array. Yeah, that's fine. That's going to be a pretty common case. So for that, I'm just going to copy this store A, and then let's copy it twice. So store A, store B, going to be the same. Then I have main store. It's going to compose the two into an array of store A, store B. So if I set store A to 1, 2, 3, set store B to 4, 5, 6, I want to make sure that main store, so I'll say expect main store to deep equal, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not totally sure on the deep equal. I've used deep somewhere else. No? Maybe not. Let's do it this way. Main star 0 to equal 1, 2, 3. Let's do it this way. Main star dot join comma to equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's one way to write it. So what other cases should I cover? It should take in an empty array. Just, you know, it's a weird case, but it shouldn't break. So if you go store hoverboard.compose empty array, then expect store dot length, let's say, to equal 0. And also expects to expect store instance of array to be true. Alright, so what other cases? So it should take in an array of static variables. So that would look like hoverboard.compose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's going to be the same result as here, so I'll just copy and paste that. And change that. And it should take in an object of stores. That's going to be very similar to the array one, but in an object. So I'll copy that to start with. Mostly have the same test, but with an object instead of an array. So my compose is going to say, let's just do A, store A, B, store B. And then I want to make sure I'll check for main star.a to equal 1, 2, 3. Main star.b to equal 4, 5, 6. Okay, it should take in an object of functions. So in that case, I want my store to be, let's say A, take in function with set state, and then set state to 1, 2, 3. And you'll never guess what's next. 4, 5, 6. So then I'll just copy these results because it'll be the same result. Okay. So what other case? Let's do one last case that covers sort of all of it combined. It should be able to do all of this at once. So what does that look like? Let's pass a function. Let's set B to be, well, I want to make a store. I'll copy one of these store A's. Store B. Call this one main store. And init these to be 79, store B, ABC, let's say. What else can be in the main store? Then I want to have an array here, which I'm going to compose. Also of store A and store B. See if that breaks it. Which I'm also going to have here. Let's just put them in a bunch of times. Can I have static var hello? And then can I have like static array test? So that's a bunch of stuff. Let's see if that works. Oh, let's try a function in here, because that's also being composed. And what can we do here? Set state last. Okay, that's enough. That's a pretty complicated store. So now I need to write a test that makes sure all that stuff works. So A and B will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Store A will be 79. Store B will be ABC. Static var will equal hello. The array dot join comma should equal 789 ABC last. And then finally, the static array should be test. Let's just use join again. Okay. All right, so that pretty much covers it. That's a lot of functionality in there. I think it's all pretty much covers all the bases. If might be overkill, but it's also nice documentation, so someone can come in here and see, what's actually possible with this hoverboard compose feature. All right, now that's done. The next step will be actually I like to run the tests to make sure they fail, which is part of test-driven development. So if I do npm run test, I should have a bunch of failing tests. So if I scroll up, all my compose, everything works except for my compose block. So see all the other tests are passing, but all my compose functions tests are failing. And that's exactly what I wanted to see. So I know, if you write a test and it passes before you wrote code, you probably did something wrong. So I actually want to see the fails. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is actually write code to make all these tests pass.